Hey folks, David Thomas Tao. I'm here at VinePair HQ in New York City, and today we're looking at the 17th release in the Parker's Heritage series from Heaven Hill. It is a cask strength Kentucky Straight rye whiskey. I had a lot of thoughts about this one. It's big, it's bold. I'm excited to share, so let's dive in. But before we get into that, make sure you subscribe to VinePair on YouTube. You're already watching YouTube right now. It's like one click to subscribe. They want you to subscribe. We're gonna be bringing you a lot of great content from around the drinks world, including some more whiskey reviews from yours truly. So go ahead and give it a subscribe. So I've actually already reviewed this, and you can find my detailed tasting notes at the link in the description below, but I'm gonna revisit on camera just to see if I pick up on those same ones. Always nice to check for consistency. And again, this is a Kentucky Straight rye whiskey with a 51% rye mash bill. Now that's a lower rye percentage than a lot of us are used to in rye whiskey. Remember, a lot of the rye whiskey that you'll see from non-distilling producers under a lot of brands is actually produced by MGP in Indiana. And what that means is it's probably using their 95% rye mash bill. This is a 51% rye mash bill, also referred to as a barely legal rye mash bill because that's the minimum amount of rye you can have in a recipe to call it a straight rye whiskey. And what that means is, well, you're probably gonna get some notes from the other grains here, from the corn, maybe a softer component. Ultimately, what Heaven Hill has done here, and I talk about this in my full review, is they've made a rye targeted at the bourbon drinker. So you're still gonna get some of that spice, you're still gonna get some of those traditional rye components, but even immediately on the nose, I get a lot fewer herbal notes than I would get on one of those 95.5 mash bills. Yeah, on the mouth. And actually this bottle, this is very high proof. It's 128.8 proof. So you're getting a cask strength rye whiskey. It's bold, it's powerful, but I've noticed ever since I opened this bottle a few days ago, it's already started to oxidize and calm down a little bit in a cool way. I'll talk about that more in just a little bit. I get these wonderful vanilla notes and this chocolate note. It's like a melted milk chocolate. There's just a little bit of spice there. It's not like a pepper spice, it's like a chili spice. It's kind of like drinking a rich Mexican hot chocolate, if you've ever had that. There's cocoa, there's like cinnamon. It's really quite lovely, thick, viscous mouthfeel. I get some vanilla there. I get some sweetness that I don't necessarily get in the same way on a higher rye mash bill. And again, that sweetness, it's not like a sugary sweetness. It's a little bit of honey, maybe sweetness like you'd get in a saltwater taffy. This is a rye that I think is really great for bourbon drinkers who like cask strength whiskey. On the nose, by the way, and I talk about this in my full review, I got that toasted coconut, or I got that coconut note, but I also got pear and persimmon, strangely enough. On the mouth, I don't quite pick up on those fruity notes to the same capacity. There's some fruit there, maybe some blackcurrant there, but it does lose just a tad bit of that fruitiness compared to the nose. I'd recommend trying it neat, but don't be afraid to add a few drops of water. I think you're gonna unlock a lot of really cool flavors there, especially some of that fruit, some of that additional sweetness. Keep a dropper close by. Previous release, which was a double-barreled blend that I'd opened a few months ago, and the oxidation, the additional air in that bottle, whatever science you want to attribute to it, it really helped this whiskey calm down. I actually expect a similar thing to happen with the Parker's Heritage 10-year cask strength rye. So open it up, if you get a bottle, if you're lucky enough to get a bottle, open it up, share it with friends, take a few ounces out of that, compare tasting notes, have a good time, and then put it back on the shelf. Take it down after a few months, and I think we're likely to find that this whiskey opens up a little bit more, it softens a little bit more, some air and time in the bottle, probably good for this rye. Ultimately, on the VinePair scale, I gave this cask strength rye whiskey from Heaven Hill a 95 out of 100. I really enjoyed it, but I'm curious what you think. If you get the chance to try this, please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also curious if you have any favorites from the Parker's Heritage release series. Until then, I'm David Thomas Tao with VinePair. Thanks so much for tuning in.